Hello, everyone. My name is Dean. I'm here to present a product from WebYog, that's SQLyog. SQLyog is a MySQL database management solution, and I'm here to guide you through some tips and tricks about, MySQL database management and how to effectively use SQLyog in while working on it. So there are some of the features that some of you may have missed in the past, so we'll just go through that. And these are the key features that usually all the prospects and clients use while using SQLyog. So let's get to it. This is how you can maximize the trial experience. We can go through the tips and tricks. Then, after looking at the trial limitations and understanding the limitations that you will need to work with during the trial, you can understand what's the structure of the license and what are the ways that you can contact us. So let's go through the main feature. The first feature that you will need to understand about SQLyog is database synchronization. Now, it's something that as the name suggests, it is something that you can use to synchronize your MySQL database. So that is something that you can use it for. It is a high-performance multi-thread application to automate and schedule your desynchronization of your data between your two MySQL hosts or MySQL databases. So that's something that you will need to keep in mind. It is something that can be done through command line as well. So there is a job definition file that is encoded in XML as one of the parameters. So you can either create this particular job definition file manually or use one of the wizards that you get from SQLyog. If you use SQLyog to create your job files, you don't need to have any knowledge about XML or job definition schema. SQLyog will do that for you. Uh, so one more point to remember while using database synchronization is that it does not require any installation at host or running the MySQL server. So you can use any host to run the SQLyog job agent. For example, if you use the job agent to keep your production database, that is probably hosted at the ISP, in complete sync with your test database located in your PC or LAN. So that is something that you can do using the SQLyog job agent. Now, how to initiate this particular database sync? So to initiate this particular sync, you can just go ahead and press Control Alt W. So that is a shortcut, but you can also go to the Power Tools menu, and there you will see Database Synchronization Wizard, and that is something that you can click on and initiate the process. Now, you will need to provide the details about your source and target databases. Now, source database is the one from where you want to copy the data, and target is where you want to make sure that the data is copied. So you will need to provide information for it, and this is how it looks. So as you can see, we have multiple options for you to provide the multiple way to connect to your source and target databases. So that's something that you can look into. We have MySQL direct connection using the host username and password, or you can use the HTTP connection using the tunneling option. You can use SSH tunneling. You can use an encrypted option of SSL if you wish. It's up to you. And you can select which kind of database you want to connect with. So let's say you have already connected to a lot of databases via SQLyog. SQLyog will provide you a drop-down list on the database that it has saved, and you can select that one and click on next, and it will just go ahead and connect. So this is how initiating the sync with source and target databases using database synchronization wizard. This is how it looks. Now, what are the synchronization options? Now, we have multiple synchronization options. Now, once you have clicked on the start a new job and click next on the new synchronization session, and once you have put in all the information regarding the source and the target databases, you will need to just select what kind of synchronization you need. So the modification done in a source database, will there will be no modification in the source database in one-way synchronization. However, if you select a two-way synchronization, the source and target both will be synchronized, as the name suggests. We also have an option to visually merge data. We'll get to that later. A quick overview: visually merge data allows you to select the kind of data that you want to merge. Yeah, it's a visual representation of these SQLyog synchronization. So one-way synchronization, to recap, will allow you to just modify the target. Two-way will allow you to modify both source and target and sync both of them. And visually merged data will allow you to merge the data using by selecting the data according to your need. So points to remember: in DB synchronization, the primary key of every table is used to uniquely identify rows. So when you're creating a sync job, one database is defined as source and the other as target. Therefore, if both tables have a row with same primary key value and the rule is that source will override the target, then a two-way sync is simply just a one-way sync both ways. So in this, both source and target database can override each other, so they will just synchronize. And SQLyog checks for similarities in structure and primary keys for both the tables. If they are not the same, then SQLyog will skip the table using the sync process. All information about the sync, including errors and other information, is stored in the log file found in the installations directory of SQLyog. So and that was one of the point of you can remember while testing out SQLyog. Now we have a Windows scheduler as well, so you can schedule a synchronization weekly or daily according to your need using the Windows scheduler. In this feature, SQL you can automatically launch a particular job according to a certain schedule, and you can indicate the name for the job file, which will be saved in the XML format, and the name for MS Windows schedule as well, which will be automatically created to you for you by SQLyog. So once this is done, the property windows will appear and you will be able to schedule it according to your need. So this is how a SQLyog scheduler looks. So you have an option to run it immediately, or you can select save and schedule using Windows scheduler. Once you have done that, you will get an option to schedule this using the Windows scheduler. You will see the regular Windows scheduler pop up appeared after this is completed. So what's next? We have schema synchronization, and this is how it looks. It is a visual comparison and synchronization tool designed for developers who will work between different MySQL servers or need to keep databases between two MySQL servers in sync. Oh, so what does that mean? It means reporting the differences between tables, indexes, columns, and routines between two different databases and generating scripts to bring them in sync. Now, what does it do? So schema synchronization enables you to compare and work with different databases. As you can see, it's color coded and it provides you a side-by-side comparison. So it makes it easy to pinpoint at a glance. So you can see the similarities and the differences between two databases. Schema synchronization tool supports column, index, and routine comparisons, enabling you to quickly insert and drop columns. You can also insert indexes, routines, and all that stuff. Now, if there are any differences in the schema of a column or index or routine, schema synchronization tool generates the correct scripts to apply those changes. If you click on either of the databases drop-down list, SQLyog shows you a combined list of all the databases available from multiple connections that you have made through SQLyog. Now you can select just a database and compare from the combo boxes, as you can see from here. So this is where you will be able to see the differences, and once you click on execute all, you will be able to see that you will be able to execute the synchronization. So how to get to this option? You can go to schema sync tool in the under the power tools bar, or you can simply press Control Q. to start the tool. Now, as you see on the top dialog box, it is signified by different colors. So what does these colors, all these colors mean? So blue, the color blue that you're looking at, there is a difference at least in one of the columns or indexes or routines between the two databases. In addition, the order of fields in indexes is considered when comparing index objects. So as you can see, at least one of the columns, there is a difference. That's why it comes up as blue. Now, if it is green, as you can see here, the object is present in database and needs to be created in another database. So this particular object is present in one of the databases, and you will need to create in the other one as well, and that's why it's in green. So what does this gray stuff mean? So if some of the values are in gray, it means that the object is not present in the database and needs to be dropped in the other database. So in the alternate box, it comes as green, as you can see here, and the source, it shows up as gray. Now, what if there is some black, something is in black? Then that just means that there is no differences between the two databases. So now that was basically schema sync. And now this is again, as I mentioned before, these are the key points to remember, that the differences between tables, indexes, routines, everything can be synced by generating script to bring them in sync. Now it helps you to compare with different databases. It helps you to quickly insert and drop columns if there are any differences in schema of any kind of columns or routines. Schema sync tool generates the correct scripts and applies those changes. Again, as I mentioned before, you can click on you can just press Control Q to initiate schema sync. Now, these are the options for blue, green, gray, and black. As I mentioned before, what is black and what is gray? It was something that is signified in the previous image. There is a difference between at least one of the columns, then it's blue. If the object is present in the database and needs to be created in the other database, it's in green. The object is not present in the database and needs to be dropped in other database, it's in gray. And if there is no difference, then it's black. Now, what is Visual Data Compare? As I mentioned before, Visual Data Compare is something that is an interactive implementation of DB Sync. So what does it use? It uses the same code for that DB Sync uses, but it's just something that is run in an attendant mode, where you will need to be where you will need to look at and compare data from source and target before taking an action. So there is an option that says Preview SQL. Click on it, it will display the summary of the queries which will be executed in source and target database. So why is this option important? So this is something that helps you compare between tables that have same primary keys. So you can hide similar rows and get not display the rows present in the source and target column. It is something that is also intended to make sure that you get a complete picture about your data, and you can understand which data you want to move and which data would you rather not move. So it's a hands-on experience, and it looks like this. So you just go to compare wizard and initiate this, and this is how you will connect the source and target databases. And then you will be able to select the tables, or you can select all the tables in the database, and then you can select the saving option. And this is how Visual Database DB Compare looks. So as you can see, there is a Preview SQL option that you can use to display the summary of the queries, and then execute it in source and target. This way you can move the data by clicking on it individually. This is done for tables which are pretty sensitive and you want to handle manually. DB comparison, visual comparison wizard is pretty useful at that. Now we have another option that's called import external data. So what is important external data? SQLyog provides you important import data option to streamline the transfer of data from any ODBC compliance data source. So you can go to Power Tools and click on import external data, or press Control Alt O to initiate the session. So what is this? So it is something that helps you, import any data from any ODBC compliance source. It requires an appropriate ODBC driver installed on the system where SQLyog is running. Now, there are two ways how SQLyog can use such driver. One is by a DSN setting. This option can be used for all ODBC data sources, no matter the data source is available in local or remote system, or by specifying a data source file. In this case, the ODBC driver details will be passed to the program, and it will be transparent for the user. So this option can be used only if the data source is in the local system and only for specific type of data sources. So the currently supported files are .txt, .csv, and XLS and MDB. Now, this is how the import external visit data looks. This is how you can choose a data source from Access, Excel, CSV, or any other ODBC compliant source. Once you put the credentials, you just need to click on Next, and you will be able to connect. You just need to put then the connectivity option, select the database, and it is done. Now, we have a pretty useful feature that's called incremental import sessions. So, what are incremental import sessions? So, let's say you may not, you may, face the necessity to import data again and again to some external ODBC source, and you just want to get fresh rows inserted. You do not want all the data to become, overwritten every other day. So this is some incremental import session is useful in that. So it allows you to import data from the same external ODBC source to your MySQL databases. So the main problem in organizing this incremental import in other software is to how distinguish between fresh rows with the imported ones. So in SQLyog, we offer you a simple solution. All you need to do is use triggers. You can use triggers to update your imported rows in the source. Invent a way to mark them as imported, like you can assign a special value to a certain column, or you can use SQL where feature to define a condition that will filter out the rows marked by the triggers. So these are the options that are pretty useful when you are working on incremental import sessions. Now, let's take an example. So let's say you have selected an address where you need to import and have a string column remark, which you can modify without any negative consequences. You can use triggers to have this column filled with value imported for each imported row. So you can just use a SQL statement, a SQL where statement to ensure that only fresh rows are imported. After that, after you have checked the box next to the table address, please press the button advance. As you can see from here, there is the button advance. This is what we will need press next to address. So once you do that, you will be able to switch to the trigger options tab. A new tab will come up and you will just need to switch to trigger options. On the appear dialog, there you will need to click on the option update source row, select the column remark field, and type imported in the field value. Now you'll be able to look at the generator statement under the grid. Just press parse button here. You will be able to see the generator statement. Please press parse button to make sure that the statement is valid. So once it is valid, you will get an option, a pop-up that says SQL statement is valid. Once you have closed that message box, you will press OK to save the trigger and return to this external data toolkit wizard. Then you can press the button where, and again, you will be able to see a clause appear in the dialog. Since you will need to filter out the rows which have remarks set to imported, your clause must be remark and then imported. Please pay attention that imported must be in quotes and where must be omitted. Then you will just need to press parse, and you will be able to check it and make sure that the SQL statement is valid. Once you have done that, just close the message box, and you will be able to proceed with the visit. Now, Please note that later the import external data will offer you a choice to run the import immediately or save the job and schedule the job. Now, if you choose to schedule the job, you'll be able to do it whenever you need. So at each time, SQLyog will import only the rows that do not contain imported in the remark column, and then mark the imported rows with imported. So this is pretty useful to schedule, incremental imports. That is something that you can do. Now, this was some of the key features for SQLyog. We are at the end of presentation. As before, at the every end of the presentation, I keep reminding you guys we have an option to view all of this on YouTube. All you need to do is just copy this link. You can type it down, or you can just type in how to manage MySQL and MariaDB databases easily, SQLyog, and that is something that will pull up. You will be able to see the session there. Uh, there are some trial limitations, as I mentioned before. You will get the number of days displayed there. Data sync will only sync only 2 tables, and a scheduled backup will only allow 2 objects to be exported per job executed, and 2 objects may be of identical type or a different type. And import external data tool will only allow 2 tables to be imported or exported. Those are just some of the limitations. And now the license is perpetual. You can use it for as long as you need. And if you're the only user, you can use it on multiple machines as well. The trial version does not have the option to register for a full version. You will need to either buy a full license. If you already have a license, you will need to go to store.webloop.com/customer to access the customer portal area and get the licenses from there. So once you purchase a license, you will get a welcome email with login link and credentials for the portal, and the portal will have the installer, 64-bit, and registration code for your license. So if you're planning a site license, please contact me. I'm available at dean@idera.com. You can contact our support team at IDERA MySQL support at idera.com. Again, if you plan to get a site license, I'm available for any kind of discounted pricing. I'll be here to help you out. We are also available at webyog.com intercom. So we have an intercom chat at the bottom right corner. Please look me up and I'll be happy to help you there. That's it. That's the presentation for SQLyog. Thanks for your time and appreciate all your attention.